All right, I'm going to take the commute this morning to talk a little bit about the S.P.E.A.R method. This is a method I've developed over the last 5 or 6 years after identifying when I feel like I'm in the zone. Let me stop for a minute. Good morning, or good afternoon, or whatever time you're tuning in. I hope you guys are doing good. Today, I'm going to talk about the S.P.E.A.R method, which is a method that I developed about 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. I've been working on it. It's a method to get in the zone. You know what I'm talking about. The feeling that you get when everything's going right, the phone calls you're making are rocking. When you sit down to your to-do list, you just get to it without being slowed down. Things are opening up, doors are opening up, opportunities are coming at you. You feel it. You feel on top of the world. You feel in control of the game. You're in the zone. Now, if you picture taking a spear and throwing that spear 50 yards and having that spear land perfectly in the center of your target, that's what feeling in the zone feels like. Or taking a bow and arrow and shooting it and hitting it center of the target, or driving that golf ball the best you've ever driven it, or making that phone call and the person on the other end is so excited to hear from you and your intentions go off exactly as planned. All those hitting the mark, being in the zone. It was that spear, launching that spear and feeling the weight of it in your shoulder and feeling it launch effortlessly through the sky and watching the follow-through and watching it hit the target that I've named this method after. So the method's called S.P.E.A.R, and it's what's called a virtuous cycle. A virtuous cycle is a cycle that builds on itself. It's the opposite of a vicious cycle. So a virtuous cycle is something like you eat. When you eat, you gain nutrients. When you gain nutrients, your body grows. When your body grows, it demands new nutrients. Therefore, you eat. And it's a virtuous cycle that builds and builds. A vicious cycle is the opposite, where you're lazy, so you decide to take a little rest. And when you take a little rest, your muscles atrophy and you get a little weaker and you get a little lazier. So you take a little rest and your muscles begin to atrophy. That's a vicious cycle. So we're going to talk about the virtuous cycle called S.P.E.A.R. Now, the first letter is S, and it stands for stress reduction. Stress reduction. So the first letter S, do something that can reduce your stress. Reduced stress leads to the P. The P is positive attitude. A positive attitude can be brought on by many things. If you need to start at this point in the cycle, you can think about things in your life that you're grateful for. You can journal. You can call a friend that always gets you in the right attitude. Whatever it takes. Positive attitude leads to increased energy levels. When you're feeling good about the world, you kind of have a jump in your step. You kind of have a skip, a whistle, right? And so your energy level increases. Increased energy leads to A for activity. Increased activity. Activity might be for you picking up the phone and making a sales call. It might be ticking those items off your to-do list. Activity might be getting off the couch and doing the dishes, or it might be going for a walk, or saying hi to a long-lost family member, or playing with your kids. Increased energy equals increased activity. And what drives results better than increased activity? So R is results, and that's the next part of the virtuous cycle. Now, results, when you get the results you're looking for, regardless of what that is, it reduces your stress level and brings us back to S. So I know you can't I know I don't have a drawing in front of me that I can point this out to you, but picture S.P.E.A.R, S.P.E.A.R, in a cycle. S, stress reduction, leads to P, positive attitude, leads to E, energy levels increased, leads to A, activity levels increased, leads to R, results which leads to stress reduction. And it continues to build and build on itself. Now, here's what's neat about this method. You can start in a virtuous cycle anywhere in the cycle, and it kickstarts that engine. It'll get you in the zone. So if you're just beat and you're tired and there's nothing you can do to increase your energy levels, and you're stressed out and there's nothing you could do to reduce your stress, you just can't even get your mind in that spot of stress reduction, and you don't have a positive attitude, you're grumpy about everything, so you can't do the S, you can't do the P, you can't do the E, but you know what you can do? The A. Maybe you can just wash that one dish that's sitting in the sink that you put there last night. Or maybe you can just pay that one bill or make that one phone call. And that activity that you do kicks off that engine of that virtuous cycle of the S.P.E.A.R method. And that activity drives a positive result. Once you get that positive result, your stress level begins to reduce. Your positive attitude begins to kick up a little bit. Your energy level now begins to rise. And now you have the energy to do activity number 2, which might be the second dish, or the second phone call, or taking a walk around the block. And it drives a cycle, more results, reduced stress. Maybe you just can't come to doing an activity. Maybe you're so tired and have no energy, you just can't do it. And you're not necessarily in a terrible mood. So let's say we start with positive attitude. So, okay, take out a sheet of paper, write some things that you're grateful for. And as you start to write down some things that you're grateful for, and your attitude, your positive attitude begins to shift and become more positive and more positive, then you'll wind up finding your energy spike, finding that little spring in your step and that little whistle in your voice, and you'll get going. So you can come into the virtuous cycle with any of these letters. I could give you myriad examples for each of the S, P, E, A, and R. So I'm going to ask you to, for those of you that watch this video, in the comments, write your best stress reduction technique, or write your best positive attitude technique, or your best energy technique. How do you increase your activity levels? What are your tricks? What about driving results? Because you can come in to drive results. Write down in the comments some of your best tips and share with each other. And I might thank you. I might steal some, but I'll give you credit if I steal it. Anyway, the S.P.E.A.R method, I thank you for watching. I'll post a comment or a picture of the cycle in the comments or next to the video, or I'll somehow get it up there. I'm not sure if I'm going to post this video on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter, maybe all the above, but wherever I post it, I would love if you would hit like or share or subscribe or become a fan or connect with me on LinkedIn, whatever it is, tweet it, retweet it, depending on where you see this video. I really appreciate you tuning in. I hope the S.P.E.A.R method helps you jumpstart your week. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.